everybody. We're back.
Hi,
And
welcome.
we
So
have
this
a Andy, we have a Kathy, and we have a Darren.
the gang's all here.
Yep.
Let me get everybody started right from the beginning. And the magic word is checkers, as in connection checkers. So what we'd like everybody to do is to type the word checkers. It could be upper or lowercase, does not matter. And what we'll do is we will give away a prize to everybody who has typed the word checkers at the end of the show. One other thing I want to ask everybody after you get done typing checkers is how many of you have played connection checkers? So I know all of us in the studio have. And I know that Darren actually gets the good part, right? You get to award the rewards for it. It's a sticker, right?
No, these badges.
Badges. That's right, badges.
There's a winner's badge if you get the shortest connection, longest connection, or the most steps you've verified each week. And there's a player's badge. So if you manage to get a complete pass to the notable checked, you get a player's badge.
So if I get the shortest connection trail, I have to verify it. I can't just say, hey, I think I'm 8 degrees. I have to verify it, right?
Yeah, it has to be verified and has a little green ticks on your pass, or the DNA tick, and there's a one if it's an adopted pass. I think it's DNA on a slash.
Mm-hmm.
But yes.
And then this is always on G2G. It's always going to be pinned at the top. And every Tuesday this comes out. And what are we really talking about when we're talking about checkers? And Tuesday and G2G link, we're talking about the 12 featured profiles. And it's always a theme. It's always an interesting, cool theme as well. And I'll show you, let me see if I can bring mine up real quick. Give me 1 second.
Yeah.
Mine might be a little not as interesting, but let's give it a try and see.
Yeah. Well, while you're doing that, we've done 16,390 profiles so far.
Wow. And this is first day. So I know a lot of people work on the first day, and it usually about, I would say, midnight, 4 a.m. Eastern time on the first day going into Saturday is when you start to see a lot more people join. We get the first really large wave from Europe come in and start really adding profiles to it. How's it been going for everybody out there for adding profiles? Have you been adding your CC7? Have you been adding to maybe notables? I know somebody who's adding a lot of profiles and connecting with a one place study and a one name study. So let us know what you're doing for the first day of the July Connect-a-thon. And what are you guys doing in the studio? What are you guys doing?
Well, right now, like I said 4 hours ago, I was going to start working on the cupolas because I went to a funeral a couple weeks ago for one of my family friends. We've known her a long time. And one of my friends said she was getting her dual citizenship with Italy, and her last name is Coppola, and I have Coppolas in my family tree, and that's a very common last name. So I figured, why don't I just work on her tree? Because both of her parents have passed away, and her brother passed away recently. So just really depressing. I know I'll get into it, but it's just okay, so why don't I just make my friend a tree and see how she likes it? She'll like it a lot.
That's very kind of you, especially since both of her parents are passed away. Sometimes when genealogy is lonely, but sometimes it's a little sad as well to get past that. So that's very kind of you.
Yeah. So I'm just gathering all the sources right now. So that's why I'm lagging behind. I'm just gathering because they didn't have time to really look up everything. So just gathering all the sources. What I really want to find out is where in Sicily the Coppolas came from. That would be interesting. And
There will be, see if anything crosses. Like you said, even though it's a common name, you never know.
yeah, you never know.
So, Darren, Kathy, Stephen, what are you guys working on? As I show everybody what those that are answering our question from the chat.
Yeah, I'm working on CC7. So I think I've got about 100 added so far in my CC7. So then, and they're not all new profiles. It's like some is like the profiles have already been there, but they've been like, I think my furthest away profile was something like 20 degrees away from me, and I brought it down to where it was on my CC7.
You know, I'm finding that most people on my team are doing CC7 too. I mean, like when I say most, I mean almost everybody is working on CC7, and that's a theme. Usually, I don't see that as much, so it's interesting. And this is really tough too, not to get distracted down rabbit holes. So usually, I say for myself, this is just for myself, that connectathons and rabbit holes are tricky things. Are best avoided. But sometimes you just can't walk away. And I like this, as she said, incorrect entries in a different site is really throwing confusion into it. And that does make a tough rabbit hole. What about you, Kathy?
I was working on some profiles for Scotland, but it's taking me a little longer than I thought. So I'm going to switch over and go to my personal category for needs profiles created and see how many of those I can get done.
Through the whole weekend, are you going to work on the personal category and try and whittle it down all weekend long?
Yeah, I have about 20 to 30 people in my personal category that needs profiles. So depending on how many they actually need, I'll work on them. Some of them are my, I think my bio line. So for the ones that are Mormons or were Mormons. So I'm sure there's quite a bit there that I could add.
That's a good thing. And Jeff has a really good idea as well. I did something similar a few years ago, working on a cemetery where most of his family is buried. So that is interesting because you probably connect in some way, maybe in your CC7, maybe beyond, but you could work on getting a lot or most of a cemetery upgraded into WikiTree. So that's kind of cool as well. I had Stephen. I saw Stephen. I lost Stephen. So Stephen was here. I'm going to assume that he is working on some of his rock connections, maybe. How'd it go, Kathy, for rock?
Yeah, the thing I don't like about using the memorials on Find a Grave is that lately I've been finding a lot of them are wrong. So if you're just using that as the source, because I have created a couple of duplicates just by using the Find a Grave when the information's been wrong on there.
I know Jeff works for does a lot of work for, I should say properly, for the Palatine group, and I know that he is constantly whittling away any errors. It's really great. I'm glad you mentioned it. It's really great though if we do find the errors, even if it's during a thon on a different site, that maybe we send in a correction, and it makes it easier too. So thanks for mentioning that as well. And if you are new to the Hangouts, the reason why you keep seeing the word checkers over and over again is because that is how we're going to draw a prize at the end of this Hangout. Is everybody that types in the word checkers, upper, lowercase, mixed case, does not matter, then we will do a drawing based off of everybody that entered. Oh, and look, here's a good example from Bernadette sending so many corrections to Find a Grave today. And you know, it happens. I always kind of share a story for when I need to send a correction in. My stepfather's father has a tombstone with his second wife on it. So you would automatically assume that she was buried there with him when she died. But there's one lady who takes care of that cemetery and actually has the actual cemetery burial records. And every time somebody tries to attack that second wife, she goes, no, we don't have any record of any burial there. Just because the name is carved in the tombstone doesn't mean that they're buried there. So that's a little tricky as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's also a little tricky adding stuff from Find a Grave, because sometimes some cemeteries are just way too many profiles. Like St. James Cemetery in Haverhill, it's like over 10,000.
Oh my gosh, yes.
You'll be forever and a day adding those profiles, and half of them are already on WikiTree, thanks to me.
They are in that particular cemetery. The plots are so close too. You look at a picture, and if you try to take a picture, you might not get close enough to see everything.
I think I've shown you St. Patrick's and St. James and Haverhill. The cemetery, it looks small. The stones are like tons of people on one plot. So yeah,
you're right, and I think a lot in the Irish do that as well. So everybody saw.
St. Patrick's is Italian, Lithuanian, and St. James is French. So is St. Joseph's. It's Haverhill. Just go with it.
And I know that a few of you mentioned Snowball, but I feel it would be neglect of me not to mention that my 3 guests each have cats. And I know that for the 2 gentlemen here in the studio, their cats were not happy with them waiting to go live. We had to appease them.
That reminds me.
Again. And a snowflake.
Oh, that reminds me of the Pet Cemetery movie. You guys remember that one?
Well, yeah, that we did kind of put that together. Shameful of us, anyway.
Yeah.
And then if anybody's working on Williams family in Kentucky, Indiana, Virginia, and West Virginia, thank you for the West Virginia and Virginia. Dottie's working on those. So your CC7 might go up. You never know. And she's got a Y-DNA holder, which is even more fantastic as we go along. So that was funny. Yes, the no pun was accidental. It kind of, I didn't put that together unless those you guys did before I hit it. So don't forget to put in the word checkers. And I like this. See, I'm working on Williams as well, but in Minnesota. So can we make the Minnesota ones go back to the Indiana, Kentucky, West Virginia, Virginia one, and vice versa? That would be interesting to see that connection this week as well. Okay. So this is going to be a really short one, because everybody wants to eat. Some people still need to eat. Some people are still waking up. Some people are also wanting to get back and do more work like me. I was a little slacking today. And let's see, Darren, what is the total now for the tracker as we come over to the prize draw?
16,557.
Not bad.
And that was 472 people.
That's not bad, because as I said, Fridays are a little tough all around. So it does get a little bit tougher for people to take off. So I know a lot of people in my thon team take off. Did you guys take off as well from work? Those of you in the chat, did you take off work for the thon?
Well, I see quite a few people there are working on Saturday, like quite a few Aussies there and a couple of Kiwis. So we're already in Saturday. But we get the problem at the end of the farm.
At the end of it, yeah. I was going to say,
Monday.
It's a trade-off. It's like the Americans are usually working at the beginning, but then slide into the 8 a.m. a little bit easier. Okay, guys, so we're going to do the drawing, and good luck, everybody that typed in your name and typed in the checkers. I mean, let's see. Who is going to win the prize? Stephanie, P314. Stephanie, could you do me a favor and just drop your WikiTree link in the chat real quick? And we can make sure that we get the correct Stephanie the gift that WikiTree is going to give you. And there you go. Thank you. 6824. Got that. And all you need to do is sit back and wait for A1 to contact you after the thon. Give a few days. You know, everybody's probably working 72 hours straight with lots of coffee and lots of snacks. So give her a few days to reach out to you, but she will reach out to you and let you know what the prizes are that you can select and get your information, and you'll be all set. So thanks so much, guys, and we will see you in a couple hours.
See you then.
Bye.